All right, welcome back to Unlock Your Mind. We have a special edition today. We have Tony Serrano on the show. I know you guys may have watched a few other episodes. Her husband John was on with her. And today, I want her to come on and share some of her maybe top 3 things that she does to help her be super successful. So really quick, when I met you, we're going on, 3 years ago now? Well, I met you like 6 years ago, but working together about 3 years ago. You were a stay-at-home mom, taking care of your son at that time, and your daughter was a little bit older. And now sit here 3 years later, you are running one of the largest agencies that we have within Universal. It's been awesome to see the growth, all that kind of stuff. But I believe there's aspiring entrepreneurs that are out there, right? All different industries, right? But I always feel there's key things that people do. They all like, oh, it's just because you have a good personality or you talk well or you came from a good family. It's all BS. Let's just be real. It's all not true. You have to literally have certain things that you do consistently, right, to help you win. So what would you say your top 3, we can break them down one at a time. What has helped you be very successful that maybe someone that's watching can take from you?
Yeah, well, for us, we have agents all over the country. So we're working in 3 different time zones all the time. So getting up early is super important. When we first started the business, I was getting up probably 3 hours later than I was. And on the East Coast, it was already 9, 10 o'clock, before I even started doing anything. So getting up earlier, getting a lot of things done in the morning before my son even wakes up. And then just having a routine when it comes to the family, having a schedule, and just staying on that consistently.
Perfect. I hear that all the time. Get up early and then having a schedule, right? People are like, well, I'm going to schedule in going on date night. Yeah. Otherwise it ain't going to happen. When you're a busy entrepreneur, right? You have to schedule things in. All right.
Well, not just entrepreneur, but if you're a mom and a wife, I go to the office specifically.
I don't know what that's like. So I guess
we're used to multitasking. We're used to doing so many things at once. So if we do not schedule it in, it's in a second. I could be saying, all right, I'm going to do this, but then I'm doing 7 other things at the same time. So scheduling it, making a list, making sure things get done every single day, it's super important. We're all over the place.
So getting up early, get you time to get your day going before the rest of the house is up, family, and get you set for the day. And then your schedule, staying to a strict schedule, no matter what it is, to make sure that you can get everything in, which is super awesome. All right. What's your next one?
Well, the next one would be being consistent with that, no matter what. Life happens.
Don't overlook this one. This is like probably the most important. Go ahead.
No, it is. It's huge because things are going to happen. Every day is not going to be perfect. Your schedule is going to, things are going to come up where it's going to knock your schedule off. But still get the things done that need to get done on an everyday basis, whether it's a good day, a bad day, a busy day, a slow day, whether you feel like it, whether you don't feel like it, just keep doing it and keep pushing through no matter what.
So what would you say that you noticed? You train a lot of people. Like, why do people not stay consistent in your opinion? Like, why do you think people, because it sounds simple. Get up, do the same things, but most people cannot do that, especially when you get in entrepreneurship, because there's no longer someone telling you, be here at this time, show up at this time. You have to self-discipline. So why do you think, I think I just gave you the answer. Why do you think most people don't stay consistent in your eyes?
Well, I think a lot of us have that 9 to 5 mindset. We don't do things unless we're told that we have to do them. And it's very easy to have something knock you off track. And the first thing you do is you stop doing what you're supposed to do. Honestly, it's excuses that get in the way. So I think that's the biggest thing.
So for you, how do you stay consistent? What's your little go-to? Because everyone has bad days. Everyone has things happen, people pass away. So what keeps you, what's your strategy to stay consistent? Is it something you dig into to, why you're doing, what is it? There has to be something, not just okay, just stay consistent. That's not how people stay consistent. So for you, how do you stay consistent? What do you have to do to help yourself stay consistent?
I just do it every single day, no matter what. No matter what. If I am, how do I say this? I'm conscious to know that if it is something that is going to kick me off track, or if I see a distraction or something that gets in the way, I acknowledge that that's what it is. It's just trying to get in the way. So it puts me right back on track to know, nope, I got to just keep doing it. So it comes down to mindset, which everyone has to work on. It wasn't easy at first, but the more you work on it, the stronger that muscle will develop.
Perfect. No, that's true. It is something. And does it ever stop? Like one day you're like, I mastered consistency. It's just like, oh, now I don't have to really think about it anymore. No, and I think that's an important part. A lot of people think I'll do it until this point, or I'll do it until this happens. And then as soon as you let your guard down, you revert back. It's like you go to the gym, you're like, man, I'm all buff. You get in it and you hit it. And then you're like, you go for like 6 months in a row and you miss 3 days and you can't lift the same weight anymore. You're like, what the hell just happened? It's because that's how it works. Consistency is the same with your body as in business.
Or if you're just not clear on why you're doing it, right? Because if you're going to the gym every single day to lose weight, let's just say, and you hit that number on the scale, then that's it, you're done. So there's nothing else to go for after that. But if you're doing it because you want to be healthy, then that's something that you have to do every single day to stay on track to always be healthy, which is my third thing, which is basically just continuous growth in whatever it is. There's not an end point. There's always something to learn. There's always something to work on, whether it's your craft, whether it's your mind, doesn't matter what it is. There's going to be different stages of your life, and there's going to be different things you go through, and you're going to have to work on that all the time.
So consistency and maybe some of the actions you have to do, and then continuous growth in your mind, your craft, whatever you're in. So like two separate things, which are true, right? Yeah. I think sometimes it happens too. Like people set a mark and they're like, I got it. Whether it could be a material thing, could be a promotion, and then they're like, okay, I'm done. But if you don't keep striving to keep growing, you'll eventually stagnate out, and then you'll feel like something isn't working, but it's you stopped working, which is very important. So final question for today: if you could go back 3 years right now and you're starting brand new, someone's watching this, man, you know what? Maybe I do want to see what these guys are doing and check it out, right? Or start an entrepreneurship doing something. What would you do differently if you can go back 3 years that you wish you had a time machine going the opposite direction that could have made you move faster? What would you say it is? If you had to pick one of the things on your list or just something?
Honestly, nothing. I would have started earlier. You know, because my mind wasn't in the right place.
Which one would you have started working on earlier? Out of those areas right there, you have habits, consistency, and growth of mind. Which one would you focus on first? Every single entrepreneur I talk to that is successful always goes back to they would work on the growth part of their mind more than anything else. That's why they say in life it's 90% mindset, 10% skill set. We'd all go back and say, I worked on trying to learn whatever product I had. I worked on trying to offer whatever, if I was in real estate, learning how to do the sale part of it. But everyone that is successful goes back and said, I would have worked on my mind first because my mind had to get right to get the rest. So that was awesome to hear you say that. So we're super proud of you here. I know you've inspired and coached and mentored a lot of people. I think this small little clip, if you guys can just take 3 things, what are they again?
Habits, consistency, and continuous growth.
All right, welcome back to Unlock Your Mind. We got a special edition today. I'm super fired up for today's episode. I got my man with me, Mr. Russell Harris, dude. This is my dude right here. How you doing today, man?
Awesome, man, bro. You know me. I'm ready.
Dude, I'm so excited about this, right? So obviously today we're going to talk about, we know there's a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs or people that have been in the space for a while. And I love your story, man. You've been at it. So super successful, real estate, obviously other entrepreneur ventures, but really I've known him from real estate. And how long you been in the game?
20 years, man. 20 years.
I think I'm 20 as long as I've been alive. No, but dude, 20 years, dude. Yeah. So you've been through, 20 years, man. So that you started back, what is that? We're in 20, that was 04-ish?
Yes, 04.
Man, so you saw 08.
I always know because my son was born in 04. So that's when I started.
So 04, man. So you've seen ups and downs in real estate, baby. And
100%.
You stood strong, baby.
Had to.
Awesome. So married, got your boys, right? It's super awesome. Actually, so I met Russell, we used to coach all the kids in sports and stuff. And then my wife wanted to get a real estate license and, she got that all done about 2015-ish. And, I knew Russell was in the game and I'm like, bro, I don't know how to do this. Right. One tip of being successful, find someone that's good at it and get mentored by them. Right. So actually my wife, teamed up with Russell and he kind of taught her all the ropes. So I definitely am always forever grateful for that, man. You were so helpful to her. But there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there, right? Some have been in 20 years and they're like, man, I haven't hit it yet. Or some are just starting out, right? And I wanted to bring you on, man, because I know in the real estate industry during all these different market crashes, corrections, all this stuff, man, you found a way to keep going through. Always have a positive mindset. That's what I love about you, dude. You've always been super positive. And if you can give today, I'd like to do like 3 maybe tips or 3 things that you do, or you've done over 20 years, that have kept you going. And dude, the sky's the limit right now. I know we own business and do stuff together, which is super awesome. So, what would be some tips that can help someone?
My biggest one, man, is bet on yourself.
All right, I like that one.
Because I had to learn that real quick. Because when I first got my real estate license, you know, it's hard to get your license. People don't realize, always people, I want to get into real estate. It's not an easy test. And plus, I was working full time, and I just had a newborn kid, new wife.
What a great time to take on
exactly.
great time. Hey, I'm working, new kid. Let's start entrepreneurs. Let's get in entrepreneurship.
And I never did sales, so I didn't know anything about it.
All right.
Let's take a chance, right? Bet on myself. And I did it. And when I got my license, I went interview with the guy to do like new construction sales.
Okay.
And he made me take this test. I think it's called aptitude test or something where it tells you if you should be in sales. Bro, I failed it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know I failed it because it just asked questions. So I took I answered what I thought was right, went and met with him, and he tells me, what did you do before this? I said, I was a dialysis technician. You should go back to doing that.
He said that to you.
Straight up to my face, bro. And I was like, what? So see, I didn't bet on myself. I let what he'd said mess my mind up and figured I should go back to do what I'm doing. I was about to do it. I met somebody else in the office, changed my whole mindset. Like, believed in me. You can do this. You know, sometimes you need that.
Dude, 100%.
Right? So I did that. But from that point on, I told myself, I'll always bet on myself.
Dude, look what's turned into.
You got to. And I tell my kids the same thing because there's times you're going to do things, people don't believe in you. They don't believe what you're going to do. When I moved to Arizona, people told me I was crazy. They're like, why you moved from Washington State to Arizona? You got a good business up here. But I bet on myself to come here. And I said, I'm going to prove to everybody that I could come here and I'll even be more successful here than I did in Washington. I did.
So let me ask you a question quickly. So in that moment, obviously your identity is one place, right? So, and dude, that's a great topic because even when I got into entrepreneurship, you think you can do it. Like, I think I can, right? And then you get hit with one person that's successful in it or you think is, they can knock you off track. Why do you think it takes people so long to bet on themselves? Like, what from your 20 years in this, you've coached my wife, you've coached a lot of people in it. And I know we're talking real estate, but it goes over every arena. What do you notice in people? Like, what is it that is not allowing them to?
It's always because something happens. Someone tell you you're not good enough. If you're a baseball player or whatever, had a bad game, bad outing. Maybe you get on a roll, you sell 5 houses 1 month, and then you go 2 months with no sales, and you start second guessing everything, right? Oh, maybe I'm not as good as I thought. But I tell everyone, you're gonna have ups and downs, man. Trust me, I'm not perfect. There's times I sit there. There's times I've cried. There's times I've thought about, man, maybe I should do something different. But betting on yourself, it's just all about. I mean, that's why I'm wearing Kobe.
I love it.
You know, because he bet on himself. Trust me, he had bad games. When he started out, I remember he took a half-court shot or something, 3-point, and everyone looked at him. Coaches looking at him, Shaq's looking at him like, man, who's this kid? What is this kid doing? But he knew one day, he was going to take that shot again.
Ooh.
He knew it, and that's how I am, man. I said, you know what? Maybe I might fail a little bit, but if I keep betting on myself, sooner or later I'm going to win. So that's how I am, man. I just continue. It's so hard to teach that. But people go through things in life, and they will end up. Once you bet on yourself, there's no turning back.
You're unstoppable.
It's crazy, man.
We're gonna finish on that. So I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. What's your second one? What's the second thing you got?
Man, my second one's be true to who you are. 100%.
That's why I love you, by the way, bro.
Yeah,
you've never changed.
Yeah,
I've known you now for 10 years.
And I learned that at a very young age.
Okay,
right? Someone taught me that. I wasn't just, but they would always tell me that all the time. Be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. Be true to who you are. And I am. You know me. I don't wear suits.
Nope.
Okay. And when I got in this industry, people told me, "Oh, you got to go buy suits." So I went and bought a bunch of suits, and I end up giving away, man, because I don't wear them.
Uncomfortable.
And you know what? I never sold a house in a suit because that wasn't who I was.
Fact.
Once I went back to who I was, I wear a golf shirt or just wear a regular shirt, whatever I do. I'm who I am, and that's the only thing. When I meet people, I just be true to who I am. Whatever my beliefs. Whoever I am, I don't change because the scenery changes or the clientele changes or I meet someone, I think, oh, I got to maybe act a certain way. I'm just who I am. And I think people appreciate that in any industry.
Well, bro, you're true to that too because that's how I've known you the whole world. I think that's why I love you now because I'm not a suit guy either.
Yeah.
Right, but here's the reality. If you are a suit person, be a suit person. If you like to, dress up nice and that is who you are and you feel good with it all day long.
Yeah.
But if you're not, people know, bro. First of all, you don't look good in it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But like you can. It's an energy that gets given off because you feel like you're acting outside of yourself on who you are. But dude, I will tell you from the day I met you that you are 100% true. Like even on business transactions we've talked about, and you're like, nah, that one don't feel right to me. I'm not going to move on that because of who's involved or this or that. He's like, yeah, we could make some money.
Yeah.
But like let's steer clear. And you've guided me in some of these areas too that have made me be successful, which is super awesome. So I think that's big, dude. Hey,
Yeah.
All right. So what's your third one?
Your word is your bond.
Boom. Hey, talk about that. That sounds very deep right now.
Yeah. Because all you have is your word, right? If you tell someone you're going to be somewhere, you're going to show up. I'm going to come to your house to listen appointment at 10 o'clock. You show up at 10:30. You're already done. You may think you're not, but you're done, because that person is going to say, man, he told me he's going to be here at 10:30 or 10 o'clock, and he's here at 10:30. They already know what type of person you are.
Yeah.
Right? If I tell someone that I'm going to train them or teach them, or, hey, you come on my team and I'm going to help you become successful, as you know, and you don't do that, you're done. Your word is not your bond. Your word is no good. You have to keep your word at whatever you do, and you do it to your kids.
100%.
100%, right? If I tell my son, hey, man, look, I have a listening appointment, I have this, or I'm doing that, but I want to be at your game, trust me, he's looking for me in that stance. He's looking for me. And if I don't show up, Dad lied to me. Dad ain't true to his word. He told me he's going to be here, and that might mess his game up. But once they see this is my son, when he used to pitch, he used to look up, and when he see me, he knew, oh, Dad's here.
It was game
Dad's
time.
in the house now.
It was game time.
Right, Dad's in the house. I'm going to perform. So that's what I always tell people, your word is your bond in anything you do. Marriage, you know how it is, man. Your wife.
Your word is your bond.
Your word is your bond.
That's true.
So those are my things that I live by. There's a lot more, of course. Other people have topics, but those are the
I
ones
want to say
hear.
something off of this real quick. So what I had to learn is a certain word that I'm not very good at.
What's that?
Saying no.
Yeah.
If your word's going to be your bond, you can't say, I got myself in more trouble. No, like this. I know I got a game at 4 o'clock. I should need to help this agent do this thing at this time. I'm like, okay, if I just squeeze it in, I can make it work. But I know deep down, I got to tell him no. I got to get you somebody else because I need to be at that game at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you don't want to hurt someone else's feelings, so we say yes too much.
Yeah.
We have to learn the power of no, I can't do this. No, I'm not taking this opportunity. No, I'm not going to that business transaction. And it's hard to do it because you don't want to hurt the other person that's asking you. But on the other end, like you said, you have a bond over here, and you have to really assess which bonds are more important in the moment of time you're doing
100%.
it. You saying, yeah, I'll grab that listing real quick, knowing you ain't making it from Gilbert all the way back over here in time, or it's going to be close. You might have to give that up for that one thing because that bond to your son who's got one more year to pitch.
Yeah.
That's more needed in that moment. Those are going to come a dime a dozen. But I think sometimes we feel like we can't say no.
Yeah.
And then we get ourselves jammed up. So I think sometimes people want the best intentions as their word as their bond.
100%.
But like, for instance, even it could be something small like, hey, dude, you want to come by my house? I got a party going on. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll be there. I'm thinking, okay, Russell's coming. And you're thinking, like, there ain't no way I'm making it to this house, right? But then you could have said, no, I can't make it tonight. Now, I might not like that.
Yeah.
But at least now I don't get let down on the back end. So I like that one because I've struggled in my career with it because I'm trying to help so many people.
Yeah.
And then the craziest part is, what happens in that when you're an entrepreneur? Your family takes the blow the most of the time.
100%,
It's
man.
never the client.
Yeah.
You find a way for the client, but your family, you get home, your wife's looking at you like, really? And even if you're 5 minutes late, how come it's okay to be 30 minutes late to an appointment for a client? You 5 minutes late for your family?
Oh, yeah.
It's bigger. So I just think those are I can tell you've been around the game for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And you've learned a lot. And I love the fact that, I've only been in entrepreneurship for 9 years, right? 9 years in, you got 11 years on me, and I'm all about wisdom.
Yeah.
And dude, me sitting here today, I was like, oh, let's get on the show. Like, bro, you just taught me some very powerful things that are going to save me a lot of sweat equity in the next 11 years of my life as we go into it. And I know we've learned from each other, right, and this stuff. But so going back to this first one, bet on yourself.
Yeah.
So if there's someone out there watching right now and they feel like I know I can do what I'm saying to do, and maybe their parents are like, that's not a good idea, or their best friend made fun of them, or their spouse isn't backing, what would you tell them?
Man, if you believe in what you're going to do, just do it. No matter what people tell you, just do it. Now, there might be some things you shouldn't do,
Positive stuff.
There you go, positive. I'm just saying, if it's something that your parents are telling you not to do, it's probably a good thing. But if it's something that's good and you have to believe in it, that's one thing. You got to believe in it, and if you're going to believe in it, you do it. Just do it, because later on in life, you're going to miss those opportunities, and you'll be mad at nothing but yourself because you didn't bet on yourself. Your parents, they may already have their life, or your friends, whatever family, they're doing what they want to do. They went to school or whatever it is. That's their life. But if there's something that's just inside of you that's, man, I got to do this, do it.
Dude, 100%. Here's what I'll say too. Once you do that, you will find your little tribe.
Yes.
Because as soon as you bet on yourself, all the right people that will help push that forward, you're going to get some naysayers, but the right ones will come.
Yeah.
And I believe when I, in 2015, went after the financial services industry, my wife got a license. We said, we're all in, we're going.
Yes.
You had already been at that point, 10 years into doing real estate. Who would have known where we're at today and the things that we're about to unlock and do and all that kind of stuff. But we both said, we're going for it. You were 10 years on your journey. I had just started. And now our friendship has been 10 years strong. And the stuff that we're about to do for the community is going to be unreal. And even for the real estate industry, what we're doing, which we'll talk to. So when you bet on yourself for the right reasons and the right things, but if you're feeling something that's pulling you, you have to go because you have no idea the ripple effect that it'll have. Him 10 years earlier, the experience my wife got into real estate because of you would have been completely different if you didn't bet on yourself early on and go through. So I appreciate you forever, man. 13 years, man. So thank you for your service, first of all, right? We both grew up here in Arizona, right? I went to the good school. He went to Peoria, but no big deal. It's okay. You know, we have another Peoria guy in the room. But we both grew up in here. So our families, we grew up not overly wealthy, right? But took care of us and helped us, become the young man that we were. And then me getting to know you in our adult life, right? Because we didn't know each other back then. Obviously, same school, same friends, but kind of different areas. I got to meet you when you started this little youth football program, this little baby thing you started, right? No, but real quick, where'd that come from, right? You started in what I know is the largest, up to date, one of the largest sports programs on the West Valley where our kids all live. But how did that come about, real quick?
We got back from my last trip to Afghanistan, and I missed the first mostly 7 years of my son's life. I was in and out, back and forth. So for the first 7 years of my son's life, I was maybe home about 6 months total over the first 7 years. So I got home, maybe a little bit out of guilt, trying to go from not being around all the time to like, hey, I'm gonna coach everything. He's missing out his dad's the first 7 years. We got to get him in some sports, football. And then when it started, it was just what we noticed around here. There was definitely different motives for people why they were coaching, whether they're trying to live vicariously through their kids or it was, people coming out there and just wanting to win games for their own egos, and the kids are byproducts of it. And we wanted to put something together that, that was central base about, being able to impact as many kids as possible and then keep the kids focused, and build, better foundation in the community out here in the West Valley.
Dude, it's awesome. And there's now thousands of kids have gone through there.
Yeah, it's grown to almost 200, 250, 300 kids every season. So over the last 7 years, we've had, impacted thousands of kids over the valley.
Dude, it's awesome. And then being able to coach with you, right? Last year we coached together, and seeing how you are with the kids and all that stuff, like that impact's been massive, right? So I know you've been super successful there. Came back from the military, like, oh, let's just start a sports program, and thousands of kids through. And then also, I know, helping operate and run the remodeling company or renovation company. So you're very successful there. So my question to you today is this, because I know some of these answers, so I really wanted to have you on to talk about this because you've taught me some of this. But if you had to pick like your big three, right? I know there's a lot of things that help people be successful, and we have a ton of aspiring entrepreneurs that watch the show a lot. What would you say your big three are that are like non-negotiable, and you do these things consistently, and you end up being successful in whatever area you're in? Because building a youth program and then helping run a renovation company are completely different worlds, by the way, right? But the principles stay the same. So what would you say your first one is that you want to get some of these people to listen to, or maybe they can adopt for themselves?
So one thing I even told all my kids growing up, and as they go through, it's left foot, right foot. Because no matter what happens in your life, no matter how stressful it gets, family situation, no matter what, you just got to keep moving forward. So it's left foot, right foot. Because if the weight of the world's on your shoulders, the only thing you control is what you do. So you got to keep moving forward. You can't beat somebody that doesn't quit. So first and foremost, it's left foot, right.
Bro, I see it with your kids all day. They've adopted your mentality. Robbie's a beast. Bella just out there balling out everybody. He's got two amazing kids, but they always push no matter what. Obviously, your wife's the one that I think that actually taught him that, but that's okay. Leah, shout out to you. But anyway, no, but that mentality, obviously being in the military, I'm a vet too. You have that concept that builds, but I can see that in everything you do. So basically, your whole mentality is no matter what happens, as long as you can just take that one more step forward, no matter, put your left foot in front, just left, right, you can get through almost anything. everything actually. We'll get
most
through it.
definitely. Because I mean, the one thing that we can say is if we give up, we quit, we take a knee, we stop, we can guarantee that we'll never get to the other side. But if we keep moving, no matter how bad the storm is, I know we're talking about Florida getting hit right now.
Yeah.
No matter how bad the storm is, eventually you get to the other side.
I love it. All right, what's your next one? That's a good one. I don't know if you're gonna top that one. What do you got next, man? Pull them out.
I can't's not my vocabulary.
So I can't is not in the vocabulary.
Nope. I even tell my kids if they say that, it's like I can't. Like that's not a Perry vocabulary. You're not allowed to say it. I was like, you got to find a way.
Or you have attached to the last name vocabulary.
Absolutely.
I like that. That's strong.
Absolutely.
Use that.
I mean, I tell my kids all the time if they say, "Hey, I can't do that," I'm like, that's not allowed.
So where'd that come from? Like, why that mentality?
I think it all stems from growing up and trying to prove people wrong, no matter what. Getting underestimated. People try to tell you they can't do, and it's like, no, man, you're not going to put those limitations on me. So that I can't. I always got to have the answer sometimes, and that's probably a fault of mine too.
That could be.
It's always a fault of mine too. Being the guy that the GSD guy, right? The get the shit done guy.
Yeah.
Because you come to me with a problem, I'm gonna try to solve it. Like with anything, I'm gonna try to figure it out. Because I don't want to not be able to come up with a solution. So, run around Iraq, Afghanistan, I was like, you had to figure it out.
Yep.
If you got backed into the corner, if you gave up, quit, said I can't, you're not coming home.
Yep.
So you're not coming home with your family. So the I can't is not my vocabulary.
Dude, I love
so
it.
we got to find a way.
All right, I can see how you're being successful a little bit. What's the last one?
So my last one is not letting other people's limitations be your own.
This is a big one. I knew you were going to talk on this. So this one's very important. So what does that mean to you? Like what?
I mean, even growing up, I mean, if you've had goals and aspirations, there's going to be naysayers everywhere. People say, "Hey, dude, when I get up, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I want $1 million in the bank." Everybody's gonna laugh at you and tell you you're foolish. It's not gonna happen. Coming from families that are ridden with drugs and alcohol abuse and imprisonment and stuff like that. Even parents, they'll put their own limitations on you. Hey, they'll compare you to everybody else in the family and whatnot, and even make it a joke. They'll put the ringtones on there like Bruno Mars, "I want to be a millionaire" as a joke, but it's literally limitations on what they can do because they don't believe you can do it. So, not letting other people dictate what you can and can't do is going to be huge because it keeps your mindset sharp about like, no, that don't matter. So your opinion to me doesn't matter. What you think I can and can't do doesn't matter. And if you can wash all that away and keep focused and you drive through left foot, right foot, you can accomplish anything in your life.
Bro, it's 100%. And it's crazy because, like, I'll just take you when you coach my son, right? My son's out there playing DB. Then you want to play receiver, and you're like, bro, you want to play some running back? And he's like, my son ain't never played running back his entire life, right? But you're like, no, you're going to do it. Like, you're tough. You can figure it out. And that one season, you helped him become a better football player because of a need that had to happen on the team. And but my point is, like, you don't even allow other people to tell you I can't. They try to, and you're like, no, this is how it works. Like, you're at least going to give it a shot. Now, he might be better placed here after we figure it out, but I seen you do that live. But I think what's also important about the last thing you said, say it again. What's the last thing you said?
I said, don't let other people's limitations make it your own.
Right. So that's a massive one to get to success. But here's the other side, and this is what we have. Once you find someone that doesn't put limitations on themselves, you need to attach to those people, because the other superpower is the fact that you find people that are like-minded, that when you're like, hey, we want to start this sports program, we want to build a sports facility out here, right? Which next 12 months we're building this thing. We are building it out here. Yeah. We've talked about it, but I didn't tell you that's crazy. I said, let's build it together. So as equally as important is to not listen to people that put limitations on you, it's also equally as important to run with the right crowd that'll back you up, because then that's where all the magic happens.
Go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated.
Ooh, say it again.
Go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated.
And today we are ending on that mark. One more time, look right in that camera. This one's yours. Tell them.
Go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated.
Hey, God bless. Have a good rest of the day. If you're looking to aspire to much more, hey, get on our channel. Check it out. We have some amazing people that are going through their entrepreneurial journey. Some have already made it. Some are on their journey. But, man, these 3 things can help you change your life. And if it resonates with you, adopt some of these, and let's get you where you want to be. Have a blessed day. Welcome back to Unlock Your Mind, special edition. We have Nicholas Dupree Murray. I know, hey, man, you're on. We had a little episode a few weeks ago. It was awesome to have you on, but I'm glad to have you back on this one-on-one segment, because the last show was kind of diving into your story and how you built what you built, but I really want to sit down, and we got a lot of good feedback from when you were on, and I want to make sure that maybe you can give them your top 3 things that you do that helps you be successful, and things that we did. So if you guys didn't get the chance to catch the show, you can go on the YouTube channel, but quick highlight reel. This is Nicholas Dupree Murray.
Hey, Jay.
My boy.
Hey,
right?
good
No
morning.
big deal.
Good morning.
I've been running together for 8 years. I've watched this young man grow from killing it in his 9-to-5 world, right? Being very successful, and then step out into entrepreneurship about 8 years ago. And now owns his Amazing Arts, owns a gym, owns multiple properties, right? Just been very, very successful. And everything he seems to touch turns to gold. I think that's why he wore that on his hat today. But also one of the most humble human beings I ever met, and which is super awesome. But I know you don't amass that much success in multiple areas without having some strategy. So this segment today is just more about, we have a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs that are maybe in a rut or trying to get to the next level. And I would like you to share maybe your top 3 things that you do no matter what industry. I mean, you're in the arts, you're in business and financial services, you own a gym, right? So like, what are the core principles, maybe top 3 things that someone that's watching could maybe do as well to stay consistent in their areas? So what do you got for me? What's the top one? What do you got top one?
Well, number one, Jay, I'm thinking back to, my success in life, right? And I always go back to work ethic. Showing up. I think the first thing is just
showing up,
being able to show up.
That's a big no. That's huge. So talk about that.
Right. I mean, consistency.
It sounds so easy.
It does.
Here we
sound
go.
Easy.
Sounds simple, but talk to me.
It does sound easy, but if we all think about our success in life, it all comes back to you just showing up and being there and being intentional while you're showing up. Right. I think a lot of people they don't get closer to their goals because they're not engaging in that action in terms of moving forward and being there and being present, right? And in showing up, the most important thing I feel is the consistency within that. You have to be consistent. One of my favorite quotes is persistence and energy conquers all things, right? If
Say it again. Slow down. So look right there for them.
Consistency and energy, persistence and energy conquers all things, right? So you have to be persistent in these things, and innately, if you keep on going, you're going to achieve your goal, right? And I attribute that in my success, whether it's, I remember being back in college and studying and late nights, and I'm just like, man, how did I do that? But it's just, you have to show up. Number 2, connecting with people who are doing it, right? I mean, follow the right leaders, copying the right cats, right? And
this is very important. This is huge. This is a game changer.
Right.
Because think about it, you could be consistent, you could be showing up, but if you're showing up in the wrong place with the wrong people,
absolutely,
you're going to keep getting those results. So I think this one is so important. It's been huge to my success too. So say it again. What is it again?
Copying the right cats, right? Following the right leaders, right? People who have already done it. And if we think about any industry, any business, right? There are people who are winning, and all we have to do, and we talk about this all the time, is just follow what they're doing, whether their traits, what are the habits, what are their daily action items, right? I mean, Andre Pennington, for example, our founder, is a great example of what that is, right? What is he doing and how did he get there? And then taking those types of steps to grow your business and grow wherever you want in life, right? So that's important.
That's a big one.
It's huge.
And the reality is, what I say all the time, and if you're an entrepreneur or an aspiring one, you feel stuck, it's okay to follow first, then lead.
Right.
It's okay to follow first, then you're still a leader, but you have to learn it first, and then you go lead. And I think sometimes people miss it, or along the way, they become uncoachable. Right. And they're like, I got it now, or hey, I'm going to do it this way. I'm like, man, you can eventually do it your way, but you got to master the way before you can start doing it your way. But here's what's funny. After a decade of entrepreneurship, like every day, all day, the core principles never change. So what got you there won't get you there, right? You have to grow, but your same consistent results will help you get there. Just the person that you have to become is a different part. So what's your last 100%. One? What's your third one?
You know, it kind of ties in to everything, right? Discipline, right? It's just being disciplined. You have to have some type of structure. You have to have some type of system. And that all goes back to organization, right? I find that when I'm more organized and intentional at being organized, and like, for example, setting up my schedule, getting things organized in terms of what task is most crucial to get done, right? It's important. Because, I mean, in the world that we're living in, there's so much, right? We all have families, we have multiple businesses, other obligations. You want to have, a connection with your faith. How do you organize all that? And it's important that you do. So staying on top of that, organization is key, being disciplined in it. And I find that if it's not, for example, if I don't have anything set on my calendar, it's not going to happen, right? You're not going to be disciplined enough to follow through with it, right? And it's kind of like a roadmap, right? When you have a map, you know your destination, it's easy to find that destination, right?
Fact.
Because you know where you're going. But if you don't have anything laid out, then you're just in the abyss, floating around,
I think that's,
doing
a
nothing.
lot of people. I think when you go into entrepreneurship, this is where people struggle because at a job, they have no problem telling you what your roadmap is.
Absolutely.
You get here at this time, you leave at this time, you eat at this time.
Right.
So it's very controlled, but you're not controlling it, someone else is. Then you become an entrepreneur and they're like, all right, you got all 24 hours. And you're like, wow, this seems awesome.
Yeah.
But you're the CEO of your life and your company at that moment, especially if you're an entrepreneur. So you have to put that discipline in.
100%.
So like you should be getting up the same time every day. You should be doing the same activities every day that you have to get done, whatever your line of work is to get it to be successful. But also you need to schedule in your family. You need to schedule in the things that are important to you, right? Your faith, all these things. So I think being disciplined is very important. And I see more talented entrepreneurs fail
Yeah.
because they're relying on talent, which will get you so far,
Yeah.
but they're not relying on a system or being disciplined in a certain area. And that's why I fall off. And I think you've been a perfect example of these three things that you say. And that's why every single thing that you end up touching, there is a end result that will happen. Now, what time frame? That's all different than everything else, but it's always success, right? And whatever
absolutely.
that looks like. So I appreciate you for coming on today. I think those are three. List them off again. What's the top three?
Number 1, consistency. Number 2, connecting with the right leaders, copying the right cat. And number 3, being disciplined.
Boom. Hey, you're an aspiring entrepreneur, or you are an entrepreneur that's out there that's looking for some other people maybe to pick their brains and figure out what they're doing. These are amazing 3 tips that you can use. If anything resonates, you can copy the right cat, use those, and get yourself where you want to be. Plug into our YouTube channel. We are putting out content on a weekly basis to help you guys get where you want to be with different minds and different entrepreneurs that are winning. So God bless. Have a good rest of the day.